Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Season 2 of the North American Challenger League. I am Reed Rapid Melton. This is Chris Studio Grant. You can see our Twitters down there, which you should totally follow because as awesome as you are for watching NACL, that makes you even more awesome. And I'm sure we'd appreciate it. And something also that you guys might appreciate are all of tonight's games being uploaded to the NACL YouTube channel. So if you either can't watch on Twitch or you have to watch VODs later on, it's not just Twitch VODs anymore. You can check us out on youtube.com/NACL esports for all of our games tonight up there for your viewing pleasure. But we're going to get into our first game of the or last game of the night. It's the opposite of the first game. As Curse Academy, now the best team in NACL, if I'm remembering it correctly. Yeah, okay, so they're in the top of their standings, and they're going up against Email Support. Now, the temp name Army has run against some problems, but picking up their first win yesterday, they are now no longer undefeated. That honor remains with Super Team NA, who still have yet to pick up a win.
Yeah, unfortunately for Email Support, they have one win versus Croats Academy's one loss, which the math not really adding up in favor of them. However, Email Support have given up Cassidy.
I feel like if you're looking to pick up more than just one win, you kind of got to work on your...
Usually ban out Cassidy. All right, so let's go through bans. Some of the bans are a little bit odd. For example, Fiddlesticks, it is a solid ban versus Zingu, but Fiddlesticks just got changed. A lot of people feel he's been nerfed with the fear changes. So it's kind of surprising to see that banned out. But more importantly, it's a lot more surprising to see that last Lulu ban instead of that last Cassidy ban.
I mean,
Duosec is no slouch on the Cass.
Yeah, Lulu's good though, but I feel like Cassidy is like there's a whole nother tier. It's like these guys are playing League of Legends and this guy is playing Cassidy. It's like it's a different idea. But getting through there, Rux will pick that one away for Duosec. And if you guys have seen Duosec's LeBlanc, which I think he's made some of his most impressive plays on so far, stealing Barons, making big plays across the map, you're in for a treat because it's not just, play Cassidy and win game. You actually have to be good at that, and Duosec is a monster. I used to play Cassidy back before he was 99% ban rate. Now I think it's 99.5.
Something ridiculous, like higher than our body temperatures. It's just crazy.
I don't know. Maybe if you have a fever, it's like over 100 degrees, and it's still higher than that.
Yeah, Cassidy's still being banned more than that.
He's banned in more than 100% of the games.
If I were to play a game as Cassidy right now, I would ban him. So that counts towards it, even though the game doesn't happen.
Then well played. Yeah, and giving that Cassidy over means that what do you do against that? I mean, there's some lane counters. Like you can play Talon against the Cassidy. It works very well. You can play a few really cheesy assassins. In Korea, they play Tryndamere, which is weird, and you won't see that here, but it's not about the laning phase. It's about what Cassidy does afterwards, which we may not be able to show on stream.
Yeah, so like you said, Talon can beat Cassidy, but eventually Cassidy will do enough damage, roam around a lot, and then he'll kill Talon. Talon will eventually be just very susceptible to the high burst and high damage that Cassidy provides, and he just gets murdered himself. So right now, there isn't a obvious counter. You can burst him down, you can chain CC him. However, if Cassidy builds tanky, he'll survive the burst. If Cassidy builds a QSS, you can't chain CC him. There's a lot of ways for Cassidy to survive quite a lot of just terrible situations. That's what makes him so rough as a champion. He has high damage, and there isn't an easy way to shut him down that he can't buy his way out of later. And that's why it's always the middle late game where Cassidy just becomes the unstoppable beast. But my guess is, due to the lack of, I'd say, hard CC, which is what you need versus Cassidy, just because of the ultimate, you either need that or a lot of silences. They're going to just try and burst him down, which they can do with Leona. She'll provide enough CC where the damage from Caitlyn and hopefully a bursting mid laner can trim to pieces. Question is going to be which mid. We do have Jungle Pantheon, though, which is incredibly good with Pantheon because he sets up ganks so efficiently, which Cassidy's already amazing at, so you now have two amazing gankers on the same side.
Oh my gosh, and Zekin actually hovered over Janna there for a while, and I was pretty excited because if you guys never watched Zekin's Janna, he's Bishu has an account called Bishuo where he only plays Yasuo. Zekin has the same thing for Janna.
And Poppy too, so
it's
support
true.
Poppy.
It's actually a thing. A guy just got to Challenger with nothing but support Poppy. So.
And I saw his description. It looks like he just kills everybody. And nobody expects Poppy's passive.
I don't understand.
It's this weird combination where his damage is high. And just
damage
do it.
is high, your health is low, and it just doesn't matter. But no support Poppies here. It's actually going to be a lock-in on the Nami. Now, Nami, a champion that's really big over in China right now, but it's not something that you see in North America too much just because it's not the Leona, it's not the Annie, it's not that big support engage, but she actually has the same tools that people don't really realize anymore. And when you combo that long-range tidal wave with an equally long-range initiate from Pantheon, you can get a lot of synergy there.
Yeah, you can do a lot of cool things. For example, Pantheon tends to get punished if you go for that hard initiation sometimes. Nami is a counter to that punishment, because if everybody groups up in the Pantheon ultimate to try and shut him down, and, well, they'll shut him down for a second or so, but in comes the tidal wave, in comes the follow-up. So Zegan can do a whole lot in terms of defense for the Pantheon initiation and follow-through with Pantheon initiation. What she does lack is her own reliable form of CC. Bubble is nice, the tidal wave is nice as well, but it's really easy to flash or dodge those out. The tidal wave is just slow. You walk out of that one if it comes from any range whatsoever. But if you have some setup, let's say, from Renekton, from Pantheon, it gets a whole lot stronger. And actually, Cassidy himself, with the slow, can set up initiation for that Nami. However, Leona, Caitlyn, Orianna, like we're starting to see a lot of range. And then we have the Divey champions from Leona, Lee Sin, and Shyvana. We've got ball delivery champions. We've got an Orianna-focused comp.
Yeah, it just works out so well when you think about it that way. But as far as like team comps working out, sometimes it can be hit or miss. Earlier on, we got to see Team 8, a team that's been looking very, very strong. Kind of an upcomer, a newcomer to NACL Season 2. Had a little bit of a faltering with a Wombo combo-based team comp. But I actually like what the Temp Name Army are doing so far. It's not necessarily an all-in, because you just have strong champions in lane, but you also have combos that work well in team fights. So there's potential there. We'll just have to see how it works out, because, hey, they picked up one win. Will their winning streak continues against the best team in NACL right now? Curse Academy have switched up some of their rosters. They got Mashme and Zekent now instead of Sheep that went over to XDG. So a lot of new faces, but a lot of success on this roster. We'll get a chance to see how this roster works out when we get into our last game of the night.
And of course, with that, we're going to have to go ahead and give a quick shout out to our awesome sponsors. So you can go ahead, if you look down below, check out a link to Loot Crate. Loot Crate for $13.37 a month will send you a crate of loot straight to your door, to your PO box, wherever you want it sent, really. And in that crate, there will be lots of cool nerd swag. It's random every time. It can be a mug, as well as a lot of other assorted goodies. The mug is the one we remember the most, though, and it was a pretty sick mug. So go ahead, check out lootcrate.com. You can win a mug, among other things. And there's also Phoenix Peripherals, who make impeccably crafted, incredibly well-designed equipment for your PC. The big ones will be the mouse pad, keyboards, and headsets. It's incredibly high-quality gear. I recommend just checking it out for the pictures. It looks so sleek. But, you should check them out in case you want to buy some stuff, too. And, of course, we've got, last but not least, LOL Class.
Yeah, click on the LOL Class link right down below the stream. You can sign up for a very affordable lesson with some of your favorite players. LCS players, Challenger players, they've got them all, and playing some of your favorite champions, too. So head over to lolclass.com, sign up, and check it out. Also want to make sure that you guys follow NACL on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at NACL Esports, or use the hashtag NACL to tweet at us, because we'd love to hear from you. We hope you guys enjoy the game. So getting into our last game of the night. Thank you so much for watching. It's Curse Academy taking on email support. And we'll have that game and a whole lot more coming up your way in just a minute. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the last game of the night here at the NACL. It's Curse Academy, your team in the on the left in the blue, taking on Email Support, aka the Temp Name Army, on the right in the red. And coming into the last game of the night sees a meetup of kind of the opposite sides of the bracket. Curse Academy come into tonight's game with a whopping 6-1 record, the best in NACL, facing up against Email Support, who up until yesterday's game were winless, but picking up a win over Super Team NA brings them to 1-5. So kind of opposite ends of the spectrum, but hey, winning streaks start one game at a time. Saw I believe it was Cloud9 HyperX Tempest pick up their first win after some losses tonight. So it's nice to see. You gotta start somewhere. We'll have to see if this is where Email Support want to start.
And like VVV is another good example. They did not have the best score, but lately they've just been on a rampage. I believe they're 4 wins in a row now.
Yeah, 5-3 from starting out 1-3.
Yeah, which is incredible. So Temp Name and the rest of Email Support, this is their time to shine. Which Temp Name? Not telling you. But we can see Cassidy mid. Once again, that is terrifying. But I do like the picks from Email Support. By having a lot more tankier of a line, Oriana will build a lot of magic resist. The ball provides a lot of defense. Leona's a tanky support. If they have a tankier team, it's hard for Cassidy to get those pickoffs. He can still get those pickoffs. He is not denied those pickoffs, but it's a little bit more difficult. It requires a little bit more backup, and Leona Pack Heal kind of helps that as well. So there's a lot of ways for Email Support to survive some of the ganks, and maybe with their big AoE from Oriana and their very, very good chase from Shyvana and Lee Sin, they can possibly take a few fights and take the game. It's a hard fight for them though. It's so scary fighting the Cassidans.
It's not a hard fight for top lane. It's Dragon Raider on the appropriately named Dragon Shyvana versus Rux's Renekton. And as alliterative as that is, it probably won't be a lane that we talk about all that often. The big interesting things for me are how you handle a team with Cassidy. We're going to get kind of a clinic on that, hopefully, here from the Temp Name Army, as they're running a little bit more of an old school comp. It's not very aggressive. It's not very, hey, we're going to all in for this one wombo combo. It's just kind of safe lanes, but with erring on the side of a hard engage.
Okay, now, dealing with Cassidy, something you have to do in lane is bully him as much as possible. You cannot let Cassidy get free roam in lane or free reign in lane, because he'll get a lot of gold very quickly. It makes his ganks mid-game even scarier. So you can already see Yasui was pressuring mid lane, has a slight CS advantage, a slight push advantage. He's going to stay aggressive versus Cassidy. He doesn't want to get ganked because Cassidy still sets up gank well with the slow and the silence preventing flash, but he can at least apply a bit of pressure, make it so Cassidy has to work for that CS rather than just kind of casually doing it. Bot lane, you can see the heavy push coming out from Zinkin and Don't Mash Me, as they're just up at the turret. This really punishes Caitlyn quite a bit. It's a small CS lead of 0 for Don't Mash Me, but it makes it a lot harder for Caitlyn to play her range poke game. You can see very little harass has gone on towards Zinkin and Don't Mash Me.
All right, so now with the, I guess with the game starting off, nothing too crazy, too cheesy early on. You do see some early support trading, but the big plays for me are going to come right around this mid lane. First recall there for Zingy. We'll head his way back to base. He's picking up extremely early Madrid's Razors. Now, this is an interesting strat that we've actually seen kind of come back, especially with the most recent patch. And what that does is it allows you to power farm the jungle super fast really early on, but at the cost of maybe some extra stats. Now, it's a good item, but at the same time, it denies you from any of those big Spirit Stone items, which are maybe a little bit more popular these days than going for a Madrid's.
I mean, yeah, nowadays you would most likely see a Elder Lizard or an Ancient Golem on Lee Sin as fast as possible, but with that Madrid's, the goal here could be, well, Lee Sin can be efficient versus Cassidy, but he needs the items first. It's not going to be enough just to have an Elder Lizard or Ancient Golem. You need to be able to tank that burst. And Ancient Golem's almost enough. You need a little bit more mitigation, so instead of going for those big ticket items, go for the power farm. Start farming it up now. Their lanes are pretty safe. Shyvana's the one that's not having a good time up top lane, and you can still back him up, but he's going to focus on power farming, focus on that gold, and just try and build up enough so he can do a dual Pantheon, so he can go ahead and just kind of survive and possibly set up ganks on Duosec with him.
You know, the more I think of it, this is the same build that Zingy did on his Jarvan IV in their successful game the other day. It was you build the early Madrids, and then you just run around the map ganking super fast, super hard, and we'll have to see if that's what he's going to get done. You know, the lane's focusing here, but a perfect counter gank there as Pat's going to jump right in onto a Zingy, trying to safeguard himself away, but one more auto attack, first blood for Pat. He's going to take it down for Curse Academy, and now Mashme and Zika still pretty low. Pat's actually pretty low himself, and it's actually going to be Zig to take him down, picks up red buff, and A 1-for-1, but the buff transfer complete gives a Caitlyn red buff at 5 minutes into the game. And if you haven't been in an abusive lane situation before, you're about to see it now bottom.
Yeah, Caitlyn with red buff is devastating, especially because both Nami is low on mana and Dope Master doesn't have a lot of HP, so he can't duel aggressively. They really can't stay in lane for very long. They're currently at their turret CS, and you can see that Zig and Leon are both going back to base. So we're going to have a lane reset, but Caitlyn will have the red buff. Not Pantheon, but Lucian can escape the red buff with his dash, but he's just going to get chunked down from that constant harass. They have to find a way to all-in, or Caitlyn will be able to apply so much pressure, they'll start missing a lot of CS. And that trade, well, Ziggy doesn't have good stats for ganks. He had already gone back to buy, but the 20 armor not able to save him. If he wants a gank right now, it's going to be difficult. As Yasui actually
mid lane, last auto attack. Yasui gets the kill, but goes down to Pat. So overall, more global gold going over to Curse Academy. But it's a kill for the mid laner on email support. So Yasui gets to use that golden lane, whereas it's going to be up to Pat to really put that gold to use in the jungle and help out the other lanes.
That is scary, though, because that's still more gold for Caston, and already has that Catalyst. That's one of his major items for sustaining in lane, as it will give quite a bit of regeneration.
That is kind of an interesting buy, though, because most Castons go tier first instead of the Catalyst, unless you're going for that double mana build that you don't see all that often.
I'm expecting double mana or just early tank build, because there's a decent amount of physical damage, and they might be worried about Lee Sin and Caitlyn just bursting him down, which can definitely happen if Leona lands a stun.
Oh yeah, it's not a bad idea, but at the same time, you want to stack both of them up at the same time.
You do want the tier, and the tier should come eventually. This is kind of a different build. Normally, you do see the tier rush on Caston going for more of a glass cannon style build. It means that Duosec is going to be stronger later on in the game, and it's going to take a little bit longer for him to build up. There's more time for email support to kind of play around that, and they can actually try and punish this earlier. We've seen Castons when they first swapped from, I'd say, Glass Cannon to the tanky build. It wasn't that rare to see a Caston team lose just because Caston did not have enough damage, not have enough usefulness by the time the big team fight started happening. So that can be something that really shuts down Curse Academy by going for this Catalyst style build.
All right, well, you can see Rux actually taking a fair amount of damage, turns on the Dominus and tries to turn around that trade, but Dragon Raider just backs away and wards a pink warded brush, and that's where Dominus really comes in handy. And oh, Rux actually getting baited a little bit too far in there for the ward. Flash after for the auto attack, doesn't want to get stunned under turrets, so no outplays there for Dragon Raider. But hey, he defends that ward and actually will be able to take it out, as Rux really can't come fight him.
Poor mid lane, it was the missing of the ultimates as Duosec missed his ultimate damage onto Yasui, and Yasui missed the follow-up shockwave in response.
It's like, I'm going to outplay you. No, I'm going to outplay. Oh.
And everyone outplayed each other that day.
Or did they outplay themselves?
Well, I'd say Duosec kind of got a little bit more out of that because he does have blue buff, so he doesn't waste as much. But Dragon Raider being chased down does have the flash.
Yeah, Dragon Raider just took out that pink ward in the face of both Rux and Pat. But, oh, it's going to be Adrian getting locked up, knocked up in the bottom lane. But escapes that Eclipse just so tanky. This early game damage really just not going to be enough. As Zingy comes up top lane, this is all fighting just because of the pink ward. Now Yasui's there. The Dragon's Rage right towards Dragon Raider.
Oh,
he's going to jump out of there, gets bursted, but it's just not enough. Oh my gosh. We've seen that twice today. Pantheon's jumping back to safety. The culling coming out from Dome Mash. Maybe just going to clear up that wave a little bit.
I mean, it's not a long channel time to get out of there with Pantheon. Teams don't expect it because it's just so... It's already using it to fight Dragon Raider going down in the top lane. The ball might be enough. And
it is. Oh, ticking down.
Turret. It was the extra HP he got from that level up that really kept him alive with that Ignite. And Rux just did not expect Orianna to still be there. This does give time for Caston to farm, but another kill to Orianna. Orianna has the same issue Caston can, where when you build a Rod of Ages, where it takes time for Orianna to scale up as well. You need really 2 big items on her before she's really effective. And hey, 2 kills, 70 CS, not the most in the game, but pretty high up there. It's really pushing email support towards a good start. And actually, look at the bot lane. Caitlyn ahead 14 CS. They're pushing down that bot turret quite effectively. Won't kill it now, but here comes Kassadin.
Oh, right in behind. This classic Kassadin gank. Shouldn't be too bad. Oh, and there's actually the tidal wave gets dodged out there by Caitlyn, but oh wait, what? Okay, Solar Flare, not where you wanted to see it. Adrian gets bubbled in there. Safeguard comes in, and Azingi's there looking for the kill onto Duosec. Can't find it. One more auto attack might have been enough to keep him alive, but won't be able to trade that one in there. Rux and Dragon Raider continue to fight, but overall, not that bad a gank. Duosec did make it out alive, so I guess that's worth it for now.
And in a weird sense, all right, Leona died, but it wasn't a kill for Kassadin, it was a kill for Nami, so
Still an assist.
significantly better gold distribution. Yeah, it's still an assist, but I would much prefer.
And Duosec's actually going to go for the straight-up Rod of Ages first, so not going for that double stacking item with a tier and Rod of Ages, but picking up the Rod of Ages early, you know, it's not a bad choice. It just means that you're going for less mana regen and more just overall straight-up mana.
Yeah, it's a much more defensive build, and I can understand it. There is a lot of very high, very single-target damage on Emo support, and they can focus it on him very quickly. Like, he almost died in that fight, even though he wasn't really being focused down. That was more of a chase, and that last-second damage from a Zingy was almost enough to pick him off right there. So his fear of being bursted is definitely not unfounded. Definitely more defensive than you're used to seeing, but that's okay. It's a cool style of Kassadin. He will be tankier. He can definitely brawl later on once the fights really break out. Gold dead even though. The Orianna really doing well for email support. The Pantheon, Pat, he's had some pretty big plays himself. 2-1-0. About equal on CS with Lee Sin. So will we see the Pantheon ganks happen mid? It's his now. It's his time to crush. He can really show up in any lane. Has the ultimate available. Going for the bot lane gank.
Oh, Bato's just going to jump in there. No fear, no problems. Just Caitlyn not where he wants to be. Mashmi is just going to get brutalized up there. You know, there aren't any brutalizers being bought. There's the 2v2 going to be a I don't know, 3v2 is Duosec just comes in, and Adrian's pretty sad right now. Zig, will he escape? Goes for the dive, as Zingy will be the one to die. Zig makes it out. All right, so Zig's safe, but now Yasui came down to help, and Duosec does have another Rift walk up. There's Ace in the hole being channeled there. Is that enough damage to turn it around? Silence, too effective, and Zig's got to get out of there.
Yeah, unfortunately, Pantheon just does not have enough HP. Zig, like you said, had to get out of there, but that is that Caitlyn sniper role coming into play. Duosec's reasoning for buying that Rod of Ages early is really showing right now as he's constantly being taken low in these fights. He's out of mana. Had he had a bit more mana, maybe he could have gone for the kill, but Caitlyn, Orianna damage, and Shockwave was still available, just a bit too much. Ruck's still in top lane.
It's getting in that 1v1. He's going to get the slice to the dice. Dragon Raider back to his turret just in time. Now, there is dive potential here, but with Dragon Raider doesn't have ult up. Rux doesn't have ult up, and Zingy's right there for the unfair 2v2. Rux goes back in, gets the ignite. That's not enough, is it?
Might
it's ticking
be. One more
down
tick,
last
one more
tick, but
oh.
no. Dragon Raider gets out of there with about 20 hit points.
Yeah, Rux, despite his deaths, he is still ahead in CS. He is playing that very aggressive Renekton and going for an early Brutalizer. It's not quite panning out for him. Brutalizer means you want to damage earlier and faster, and he's just going for the constant offense. And it can work out. He's at least getting high CS, but he really needs to make sure he doesn't fall too far behind. Also buying a Ruby Crystal, so going for a less than common build route.
Yeah, I think is that Black Cleaver Rush? I guess so. Nice dash out, but the Zenith Blade follows. A lot of damage there onto Don't Mash Me, and you can see, I don't know, Zig and Adrian really doing well against one of the better bottom lanes. I guess you could say the best bottom lane in NACL today is, like I said, Curse Academy. Top of the rankings. Keep in mind, tomorrow they play LMQ, who did give them their only defeat. So we'll have to see if either the Temp Name Army can give them their second loss or save that for tomorrow. But either way, it's going to be a lot of good games, both today and tomorrow, and hopefully more as the season continues. Keeping it here for this game, though, remarkably even score. And as much as Kassadin's been trying to do, he just hasn't been finding those kills.
Yeah, he is 1-1-3. That's, for a low-kill game, not bad. But he's not dominating the game. He's not devastating. Pantheon in the bot lane, though. Temp Name going to have some trouble.
Oh, man. Adrian goes down. Now his Zingy's there. The Solar Flare just going to stun out Mash Me, but doesn't stop. What does stop it is a nice kick backwards. Now, Duosec's here. We'll see who can get on to Adrian's pretty low, but it's just not enough. So they do find a kill there on Zig, take him out, but I feel like Kassadin just really can't do enough on the map. Now, if Curse Academy gets, say, a dragon out of this, it'll be completely worth it, and that's honestly why you gank the bottom lane. It's the hardest lane to gank, but it's the most rewarding because you can usually take a dragon off it. Top lane, Rux is going to lose that 1v1. Pretty sure Dragon Raider could have stayed and killed him, but better safe than sorry. And now it's actually slow coming out there. Adrian's going to get in there. The command shockwave. Absolutely massive. The Temp Name Army destroy Curse Academy. An incredible grouping. And that's exactly why you pick Orianna. Yasui coming up huge.
And that is not a massive wombo combo either. That is just the base damage from Yasui really setting everything up. Just Pantheon a bit too low. He hasn't built tanky yet. Going for Brutalizer, Spirit of the Elder Lizard. A great damage combo, but he's squishy. Lucian's squishing himself, and Nami, I mean, she's a fish. Of course she's squishy. So they walked into the wrong spot, walked into the Shockwave, and Yasui with a great reaction really setting that up. So this is now the momentum for email support. They're ahead by 3k gold. They have the dragon. They have the kill lead. Actually, Duosec in the mid lane might go down. Yasui, though, will tank the turret. No ignite, though, so he survives. Flash
Oh my
forward,
god!
but doesn't get the kill.
Oh, rip my heart, man. This game is too close for comfort, but man.
There's a big what in chat from Yasui.
They're just like, oh my goodness, we're going to kill each other. Oh, just kidding. And they both back off with like 2 health. Man, that's about the opposite of top lane. Top lane, you hit each other and it doesn't matter. Mid lane, you hit each other and you go down to 1 hit point and you're just like, whoa!
All right,
gotta stop that one.
We mentioned it might be a Black Cleaver from Renekton. The problem with that is he is not doing well in lane. He's picked up a Negatron Cloak. We might see a Spirit Visage. We might see him go for the Black Cleaver now if he can tank it out. However, there's going to be a decent amount of gold for Dragon Raider to spend. He himself has 1,400, so he goes for the all-out offense because Dragon Raider can build something like Sunfire Cape or Ninja Tabby and really survive versus Renekton well. It's going to be hard for him to survive. Kassadin is in the top lane, though. Dragon Raider about half HP. Dominus, Ignite. They can dive this. They can go for the kill.
Okay, now Dragon Raider, he's overextending. There's a Dragon's Rage, but it's a 2v2, not the 2v1 that they thought it was. Dragon Raider jumping out there, but wait, what? That was some pretty weird movements from Azingi. Now he's still dropping low, doesn't want to go for that dive, but still, Dragon Raider, impeccable escape, but I'm not sure how all that movement and displacement went down under the turret.
A little bit odd. Well, so Rux thought he could get the kill with Slice and Dice and Ignite. Like, that was just his burst combo. He did not want to die under turret, so he did that as quickly as possible. If he'd stayed for an auto attack, he might have died, but he would have secured the kill. So that was Slice, Dice in less than an instant as the Ignite went out, and that almost killed him. One more tick from Ignite would have done the job. Mid lane from Pantheon.
Yeah, going in on Yasui. Duosec just roaming around. Nice command. Shockwave does a ton of damage, but the culling coming in from behind helps Duosec pick up the kill. Curse Academy still down in kills, but making nice plays across the map.
And there is that tier coming out from Kassadin now. He is still going for that late game. He's gonna once again going to be a little bit weaker early on because you want that tier to build up ASAP, but he will still scale quite well. And Yasui, I'm surprised he hasn't died more times like that. Pantheon combined with Kassadin, that is devastating for those ganks. And especially now that mid turret has gone down, Yasui's even more out of position if he does push forward. It's a weird situation because normally mid turret goes down for the enemy team. That's awesome. But Yasui has been pushing the lane a little bit harder. That puts him further out of position. That means that the mana drop is a little bit easier to land onto Orianna. So Yasui's doing okay. He has to make sure he doesn't walk that far forward or even possibly outside of the turret range without a friend. But yeah, Pantheon at Kassadin, amazing gank combination. So many just like champions surviving with 1 bar of HP or even less. They're flashing red. They're about to die. But the kills aren't coming in, so who's really snowballing this game? Honestly, no one. No one's so devastating that they can't be stopped.
I mean, when you look at the tank lineup, it's starting to fall off here for Curse Academy. They really only have Rux, and he's kind of getting Ruxed up there in the top lane. And now it's the OP support gank. Leona coming in there, looking to take down Rux underneath the turret. Now Duosec's here for the rescue, but may not be here in time. Dragon Raider pretty hurt, but they're just going to turn on to Kassadin. Pantheon, Pat right in the right place at the right time, and now Adrian's going to go down. So an overall 2 for 1, but a nice dive onto Rux, and Zekan in the mid lane going to get hit up, does hit a nice bubble, but there's the insect right into Zig. So an overall 2 for 2 across the map, and possibly even a second tier turret in the mid lane for email support.
Duosec out of bounding, he has to go back to base. They can take this turret for free, so definite advantage to email support. I mean, that was kind of a weak gank for the follow-up because once Shyvana goes down, Leona on her own has no real offense at all, so could not get a return kill. But I'm loving that constant pressure. They know Kassadin's going to roam for those kills. He's going to roam for anyone he thinks is going for a gank because he can counter gank so effectively. So if they're ready to push the map at the same time he goes for a counter gank, that's a free turret. That pushes them closer to the inhibitors. That means that they're one step closer to getting down a major objective. And if Kassadin is playing defensively, that changes his entire play game style. He cannot go for those ganks. He cannot go for those kills. He's off to the side either farming or waiting for something to happen. And you have that control. Pantheon in the bot lane, though. The Coling trying to set stuff up.
Oh, going through the turret. I actually think Adrian's pretty good right now. He's got the turret for a bunch of damage, and Zig's actually pretty safe. Zingy coming in. He's actually pretty low HP. The double flash over the wall. Of course, one of those was a Rift Walk, but still, Curse Academy, man, they're getting out of there. Starting to kind of feel the pressure. Mid-game, 20 minutes in, and the kills and the turrets, both in Temp Name Army's favor.
Yeah, they got a gold lead as well, doing quite quite well. The CS lead is just incredibly high for Yasui in the mid lane. Or Shyvana pushing up the top, Renekton pushing in the mid. They were going for a Zingy with that dive. The problem with going for a Zingy is it's Lee Sin. He's just such a mobile champion. And the rest of email support was definitely there to back that up. And kind of a standoff in the bottom lane. However, they do take mid lane, so definitely
they take bottom lane too, and actually they catch out Adrian there. Does get healed up a little bit. What on earth? A huge command shockwave hits, and now Zca's gonna fall. It's a triple kill for Yasui, and while there are champions starting to drop for email support, what on earth is Zingy? You've got it. You've got the range. You've got the angle coming in.
I believe.
Oh my goodness, Duosec waiting for it. There's a ward jump in. He actually hits the combo underneath the turret, and Yasui, I don't even. How do you?
4-man Orianna command shockwave, devastating. That early haunting guys on Orianna, amazing, because that burst damage, it would not have been enough to win that team fight. Yasui almost doesn't need the help from his team. Caitlyn could probably not be there. They could still win a fight just because these ultimates have been amazing. So Yasui's setting up so much so effectively. Part of it is that Curse is positioning kind of badly. They are grouping up for those chases, but email support setting up. They know they're out of position. They know they're going to get that bait.
Rux and Zcan coming around the high side. Now, Zingy's going to be safe over the wall. Can't get sliced and diced on. A nice jump in there. Zingy's going to try to escape. Gets barely out of range of the stun from Pat. Man, that guy is moving fast. Does have those boots of mobility, which actually got changed a little bit this patch. So if you get hit by anything, you drop down to boots 1. But if you can stay mobile, then you get a lot of that mobility back.
Yeah, unfortunately, boots mobility, very, very ineffective in combat. Before they were just the normal boots too, which if you get hit, you are getting caught at that point, especially against someone like Pantheon who has incredibly high movement speed. Actually, I believe the same movement speed as Lee Sin, which is already, as a base, just insane. But action across the map, the red buff, does find its way to someone's hands, and we can see that 22 minutes in, it's a 5,000 gold lead in favor of email support. Now, once again, Kassadin compositions, it's never over till it's over. Kassadin can always pick up those kills. He can always snowball out of control. It doesn't take a lot. However, Orianna, we haven't talked a whole lot about her. She has 3,200 gold.
In her, just waiting to be spent.
Yes, she's going to spend that gold, and her damage will almost double in a sense. Orianna has incredibly high scaling. I believe that might be enough for a death cap outright. And when that happens, if another Orianna ultimate lands, they will not only get kills, they will get kills taking so little time, they'll take so little damage during that fight, that they will just almost instantly be able to take another objective, like Baron, like inhibitor turrets.
Now, so, the interesting thing for me is that, yeah, it's straight up death cap, just bought out of nothing. Didn't even have to sell a Doran's ring. You just clicked on the death cap. It's like, what's this? 3,200 gold in my pocket. Gonna go for that. The death cap purchase is big for a couple reasons, because you need magic penetration to be able to chunk down the tanks, but let's check out the tank lineup for Curse Academy. It's just not there. Nami, not tanky at all. Nothing else other than just the Renekton pick, who's 0-3 in lane, poses a really big threat as far as defensive stats. And so the early haunting guys by, it's a little bit of a risk early game, but the pressure paid off. And Yasui, the other U name, but yeah, Yasui, just coming up huge so far, 7-2-3.
Yeah, so it's not over. It is never over. Orianna ultimates have been amazing, but Curse Academy, they might stop hugging each other so much when they go for those chases. So we might see the reversal. Really, they group up for those chases. Rux being chased down himself, though, for the top lane. Though the room being used, trying to escape this. The ultimate scaling isn't quite enough, but here comes the Dragon's Descent, but he's still walking out of there. Just taking enough.
Zingy doesn't want to go too far. Dragon Raider actually going to get locked up, knocked up. He's probably dead this time. He's not going to escape the Ignite. Now Zingy's going to be able to safeguard his way away, and yeah, I don't think Pat wants to go in on that.
Okay, that could have been the throw right there. If email support went for that chase, you can actually see Lucian in the bot lane, just pushing out, going for another inner turret. So they went for the Rux kill. Had they picked it up, might have been worth it if they could have taken that top inner turret as well. But unfortunately, losing Dragon Raider is a huge deal at this point, and they also lose that bot inner turret. If they start losing the pressure, if they start having to spread out and defend against split push, then you end up with champions left alone, or Duosec. That scary 1v1 assassin gets much, much scarier. So they cannot let themselves get baited too hard in the chase. Those chases have been what's actually shutting down Curse Academy quite a bit. They cannot fall for those same traps.
Now, this is classic don't mash me. It's just like, what's that? You guys are a team? Oh, I'm bottom lane split pushing. And he's used that effectively to get himself a 40 CS advantage. And while he is behind in kills, 1 and 3 versus a 2 and 1, he is up a ton of CS. And that's going to help him stay pretty even. Notice him actually stopping the build course towards a Blade of the Ruined King. Picking up that, it's Command Shockwave on a duo sec. The ball misses Flash out, and there is the Kassadin escapability. Flash in the ball, he's got the range. Yasui dunking down on a duo sec, taking him out, and Kassadin not mobile enough. Did I just say that sentence, Studio?
Yeah, I mean, the Flash was burned, the Riftlock burned as well, just not enough distance as Yasui really got the catch, really just caught him with his pants down. The thing is, Duosec doesn't have the Seraph's Embrace yet. He bought a late Archangel Staff. Don't Match will burst down the mid lane, but he'll be able to walk on out of there. So he went for the more defensive build, but he doesn't have the extra shield, which would have been enough, which would have saved him in that fight. So because he went for the more defensive build, he didn't have the right defensive item, which is as odd as it is to say, you build defense when you build offense because of a Seraph's Embrace for Kassadin. So that's unfortunate, but hey, he went for the safer build earlier on, now he's getting punished later.
Yeah, exactly, and I really don't like that choice to go for a full Rod of Ages and then the tier build after that. You get tier first so it can stack while you get your Rod of Ages, and sure, it delays the Roa, but it actually gives you more overall stats faster and more quickly because he'd have that Seraph's Embrace by now. And sure, he'd have less stats from the Rod of Ages, but that shield would have been pretty nice to have right there. And the tier stacking up, something you want to get very early on. Now his build just very far behind. He, as a Kassadin, is very far behind as well, and he's going up against an Orianna that has a slight advantage.
Yeah, 8-2-3. Let's check the Orianna gold pool now. 1,700 in her inventory. I would expect possibly a Zhonya. We could see Void Staff actually. Void Staff would be effective because that makes Kassadin even weaker. And Duosec, I think he's also just not used to this playstyle where you're so far behind his Kassadin that the magic users are shredding you to pieces. Duo mid, going for a little bit of push, trying to start that split push. They do not want to fight head on unless they can bait out a Shockwave from Yasui. However, Yasui with blue buff, which I believe he does have, we'll double check that. Yeah, he's got his own blue buff. He can still sustain quite well, and it has enough CDR where he will just fight those long-term, high sustained damage Orianna fights that you really want to kind of bait out. Like, Orianna's burst is amazing, but Orianna's sustained damage with command attack is also incredibly high.
Yeah, Orianna has come up so huge in these last couple of team fights, and you can see Curse Academy really sort of shying away from going back for those 5-man ganks or those big groupings just because Yasui's so scary. Like, they almost have this like horrific image in their brain that keeps them from doing anything anywhere near Yasui. So that may delay Baron, it may delay these big pushes because right now Curse Academy, they're just trying to get back into the game, and it's the unfortunate reality that if email support don't do anything right now, then all of the early game advantages kind of evaporate as we get later and later on. Now, sure, we're only about 30 minutes in, but towards the 35, the 40-minute mark, these discrepancies start to get a lot smaller. And with big items like that last Whisper just now completed onto Mash Me, as the turrets start to even up, this gets to be a little bit more of an even game as well.
Yeah, you don't want to stall it out. Luckily, Yasui will scale well into late game, but the issue is going to be still will Kassadin. He needs about 200 mana to finish off that Seraph's Embrace, so he's getting there. He's pretty close himself. And I really want to see some more pressure come out from email support because there are 4 champions that will die from a full Orianna combo. Pantheon doesn't have a lot of match for this, so that Giant Spell not that effective. And of course, Kassadin, Lucian, and Nami. We've already seen Kassadin go down to that combo. Lucian and Nami are not exactly tanky either, so they'll all get bursted down. They need to start making some action happen now for their own safety. They should not go risky. They should not go for an aggressive dive. But if they can push down mid-turret, if they can catch out Duosec with an Orianna ultimate, I mean, that might be an inhibitor. That might be the setup for the game. Baron now being kind of pressured. They're in the area. They might need to clear out some more before they really fully commit. But this could be their next segue. Baron's a good area for Kassadin to fight, but if your Rift walks in, especially now that he doesn't have flash up for a good 30 seconds, he can very easily get caught up with that and just burst it down the second he Rift walks.
All right, so Baron, it's getting cleared out. It's getting some ward coverage up there from email support. And yeah, to be honest, I like the way that email support are playing this so far, just because they've they've built super tanky on their top and jungle. Whereas if you look towards Curse Academy, they have a high damage jungle, but they really don't have a dedicated tank. So when Curse Academy go into these fights, they have to get everything coordinated almost immediately right off the bat. Whereas email support have a little bit more time to work with. They've got a tank line that can run interference for their back line, which, oh, by the way, does incredible amounts of, oh my god. Zeke, that's like a Nidalee spear. He gets half health almost immediately.
Oh!
Look at that, just way back and forth. He dies before the fight even starts. Dragon Raider very low, gets culled, and Zingy looking for some followed, misses that Sonic Wave. There's an Ardent Blaze over the wall from Mash Me, and 1 for 1 so far.
Well, Kassadin's pushing in the inhibitor turret. He's going to get the inhibitor turret. He can get the inhibitor.
And all that Curse Academy have to do right now is just stall.
Yeah, they're not looking for kills. They're not looking for big plays. They're looking to waste time, because the more time they waste, the worse it is for email support. The inhibitor will go down. They're not securing it. Lee Sin about to go back to base, interrupted by Pateau. It's going to die.
And so they're going to lose an inhibitor. Can they take one back? Now, Pateau is actually pretty dead here. He's going to avoid the Kaelin trap,
fast.
but as that flash, where is the flash over the wall? He's going to try to get Dragon's Rage, but he goes over the wall because Adrian flashed over too. He was looking for the follow-up, but didn't actually make it. Now, the Nexus, or the base turret dies.
Pateau stepped on a trap and will go down for that. That's unfortunate, but now Yasui's too low on HP to keep pushing. The inhibitor goes down. Curse Academy, they lost a significant amount of gold in that fight compared to what email support has picked up. However, they have the control. Yasui's very low. I mean, if I was Leon, I would pop kill right now for Yasui, because he's going to get bursted down by Kassadin immediately. They're looking for him. They're hunting for him. Okay,
Yasui very, very low. Now, Rux is going to go in on this. He gets that slice, and oh, there's the Kassadin assassination. Getting it down in the back now. Duosec doesn't have a whole lot more to go. He's going to try to get in there to the fight, but is that going to be enough? Picks up the double kill, and now email support there. Going to have to retreat from this. A full health Dragon Raider comes in from the side. Adrian's out of there right now, and Rux is looking for just anything, because he's got follow-up on his side. Dragon Raider is tanky, but he's just not taking enough. Gets taken out of the air by the anti-aircraft fire. And now, oh, Adrian going to be going down as well. 4 for 1 exchange, but some excellent follow-up. Curse Academy winning it late.
Email support, they went for the Baron, but the superstar of the team is now Yasui, because he has so much gold, so much kill potential. I mean, there goes the Baron. Kassadin picked up a whopping 1,000 gold from getting 2 killing sprees in that fight. He is going to be amazing in the next team fight. Has a large rod already. Should be able to finish up a death camp easily off that fight. Zingy's in the area. He can go for the seal, but I mean, if he doesn't get it, he will die. Inhibitor is already down. They might lose another. And actually already being chased down. Duosec can always interrupt his resonating strike, and they could just try and kill him straight up.
Oh, Zingy's going to try to get in on this, but unless he's got a safeguard somewhere, yeah, he's just dead. So now Curse Academy have a little bit more of a secured Baron. A little bit too early. Not sure why I didn't just try to go over the back, but there's super minions in the base, and now a Baron as well on Curse Academy. It was a strong early game showing from the Temp Name Army, but just need a little bit more work as Curse Academy, they're starting to pull it back. Kassadin shut down all game. What's that score, Studios?
6-3-8. This is the Kassadin, the curse of the Kassadin.
Cursadin.
Yeah, Cursadin.
Curse Academy.
I mean, it's Cursadin from Curse Academy, so. It's 33 minutes in. He has reached not necessarily full caster potential, but now if you are, let's say, Caitlyn, you are dead because you will get bursted down by Kassadin. Orianna might survive with the ball, might survive because of her magic resist from the Athenes and Holy Grail, but man, Kassadin is now going to be devastating. This is incredibly scary for email support. They can still win. They just need to make that major pick-off. They need to somehow kill Duosec, which is still possible. He has not built any defense. He does have Seraph's Embrace, but it is currently on cooldown for about another minute. And they need to somehow escape their base. Gold completely even now. 400 difference.
You can see that Curse Academy, they're making the commitment towards damage. Deathcat bot instead of Zonya's Hourglass indicates that, at least for Kassadin. So Curse Academy, when they start these fights, they're going to have to go hard in on it because they don't want to get out tanked by any sort of shields. Dragon Raider does have that balls delivery system, and if there's one guy to turn this game around for email support, it's Yasui. He's brought them through the mid game, and all he has to land is another one of those godlike Orianna ults. Command Shockwave is the skill you're looking to land if you're looking to win this game.
I mean, Curse, they're grouped up. They might be able to get this.
Pat's very low. That Command Shockwave would have picked off Pat, but you wouldn't have had it for the next team fight. So somewhat of a missed opportunity, but at the same time, you got to wait for, as Orlando Bloom would call it, the opportune moment.
Yeah, the opportune moment will be definitely somewhere where Duosec or Mash Me is in the mix. Yasui's Shockwave does have a minute on cooldown. It's pretty short, but he doesn't have a massive amount of CDR. He does have his own team's Lou buff, but this is not a heavy cooldown reduction build so far. You probably need that extra potion for that extra super low cooldown with Blue Elixir. However, if they don't feel confident, I mean, they might just play passively, but that just gives more time for Kassadin to farm, Kassadin to reach the late game emo support. I love them. I thought they were going to double up in wins and double Curse Academy's losses, but it's looking dangerous. Zingy in the top lane, if they can get a good initiation, Duosec does get hit by Resonating Strike, will rip the lock right on out of there. So no follow-up from email support. That would have been suicide. And, oh, Leona's caught out.
Oh, yeah, Leona actually does use a nice Zenith Blade to get herself back to her turret, and the bubble does land as well. Nice safeguard in there. A lot of shields out there, so some protection coming Adrian's way, but he's still chunked down to half health.
And that was very smart of Curse coming out to go full on for that, because Duosec could have dove for the Leona, would have picked up the kill most likely, but then he probably would have died, as the rest of email support had backed up to show that, you know what, Leonas may die, but we will get kills in response. I like the little trap brigade right outside the turret for email support in case somebody goes too far forward. They need that catch, they need that little bit of offense, but they're against a team that is so mobile, so fast, that getting any sort of catch is so difficult. Casting back in the mid lane.
Oh my goodness, we're going to see the engaged Zenith Blade will go in. There's a command shockwave, but the Rift Walk out. Now there's the Solar Flare locking down Duosec, the culling over the wall, and there's actually Mashmi, or Zeken, right in the middle of the action. He's going to go down, but Yasui will pick up one kill onto Zeken. Where are the rest of them left to come here? Curse Academy. They're actually getting kited out here pretty solidly. They dove the turret. There's actually the flash in there, but a nice flash out almost immediately. Mashmi makes it out alive. A 1-for-1 in the end. Not a good place to be a support now. Zig looking to get on there, but Duosec's gonna, for the second time this game, go in, backdoor that inhibitor, and oh, Rux gets caught out there. Now Pat's right there. The engage through that tank line. Duosec just dominates Zig, blows him apart. Now Pat will die for it, so it's still a 2-for-2. Mashmi, though, is he's gonna have his work cut out for him now. Duosec looking to go back in, and you can see the two big tanks on the team now afraid of the damage from Kassadin.
Yeah, Yasui has to get to top lane soon. Mashmi can actually outplay Orianna, though, and can go for the kill if Leona doesn't make it there in time. We'll just actually back on out as trying to dodge a Zenith Blade combo, and Orianna's the ball would be difficult. The culling comes out, but completely doing absolutely nothing. And there goes Don't Mash Me.
All right, yeah, just winding it up, taking him down. Yasui gets a nice kill there, but to be honest, I almost think that's what he has to do right now. It's taking too long for him to keep waiting for these big these big plays with Command Shockwave.
He got the 4-man ults before, but he's not getting them again. And you can see, you're right, Curse Academy, they're so split up. They're never fighting as a group aside from those team fights after they've already broken out, and the Yasui's already used the ultimate. Like, they need to kill Duosec, but it's not going to happen. Duosec is staying way the hell away from Yasui until the fight breaks out and he can successfully get the snipe. So they wait. They have to go ahead, kill Don't Mash Me. They have to go ahead and kill Pateau. It doesn't matter who they kill, as long as they get somebody down, can stop the split push from Curse Academy, because that is what is shutting them down. It is everyone across the map pushing at once. It is Don't Mash Me almost dies, rotates top, and takes turret instead. It is watching Duosec take down the inhibitor a second time, and the rest of Curse Academy just zoning for it because they don't want the fight to really break out, but they do want to stall.
Yeah, and keep in mind, it's not just once. Kassadin's taken down that bottom inhibitor a duo second time. So he's going to switch his split push lane up there to the top and see if he can get that one down. He's going to meet up with two champions, so I don't think he's going to have too much more success. And now it's up to Dragon Raider to try to defend this bottom lane. And sure, he actually gets a whole lot of health back off of that Blade of the Ruined King, but pushing against Super Minions is a pretty rough deal.
Yeah. Luckily, we'll do a little bit more damage to the Super Minions because of the Blade of the Ruined King passive. You can see Curse Academy lined up around the Baron area. Baron up in 1 minute. And with the Super Minions pushing in bot, if they can time it well, they can try and make a power play happen if someone has to stay back and defend. White can be taken down by Dragon Raider. This is one of the few times he knows he'll be safe in the bottom part of the map because the rest of Curse Academy is just hovering in the top jungle looking for that fight, looking for that kill. It's all about the pickoffs. It's all about one person being out of position for Curse Academy, and they're just looking for anybody. Azingi has gone for a Banshee kill. I love it, just because he needs to survive the Kassadin burst. He needs to survive the silence. We'll stop all of his mobility.
Okay, well, that's what building magic resist gives
Don't
you.
Mash Me has a field day. It's really all about who gets a better initiation. The thing is, Kassadin makes any initiation a good initiation with that cleanup potential.
Okay, well, now we're going to have the ward clear coming out.
Oh.
And as they clear out those wards, here's the initiation. Huge tidal wave right in onto Pat, and Yuzui gets blown up before the fight even starts. That's why this ward clear is so dangerous, and Curse Academy just shutting it down. You can't run into a fully warded jungle because you just get jumped on too mobile, too quick. Curse Academy closed out that kill with 2 kills, most importantly taking down Yuzui.
This could be game. No Yusui for 45 seconds. No Fiona for 38. To be such a long time, and Yusui was so crucial to keeping the team alive. Dragon Mayor taking a lot of damage now.
Oh my gosh, he's got nothing but tank items and a Bork and gets blown apart. This is a super high damage lineup here for Curse Academy. They're making it count. Taking down now Dragon Raider. Yusui's up in 30 seconds. This is going to be GG. The 10th name Army fall again. They got 1 win, and it looks like that's exactly where they're going to stay as Curse Academy improve their NACL record to, I believe it's a total of 7-1. Yeah, 7-1 now. They will face the might, the powerhouse that is LMQ coming up tomorrow. And that is, I don't know, the game's not over yet, but like, the inhibitor respawned somewhat unceremoniously.
It might, yeah, it's actually not over because they
It's-
dove the Nexus turret. This could be the
Why
throw.
do you dive the Nexus? I'm like,
It's funny, Rapid. It might cost them the game, but it was kind of funny.
no.
And now,
This is horrific. He's
yeah,
gonna
Rux
kill
is
Rux.
going down. All right, there's
He's
now
just like-
40 seconds. The Nexus will survive for now.
There's 60-second death timer there for Rux. You got 30 on the.
I mean, okay, so really email support can't do anything because everybody's still dead and they're pushing so far. It would be suicidal for them to leave the base. Like, they actually cannot hold the bottom inhibitor at this very second. That's why they're rushing towards it right now. So they're not going to get anything, but they still haven't lost yet. And as odd as this sounds, this is actually an okay position for email support because they're in their base. They're hanging out as a group, as 5 almost all the time. They're going to rush the Baron right now. They might lose top inhibitor for it, but you know what? No reconnect for 30 seconds. Duosec will be up now, so it's a 5v4. Caitlyn going to show up a little bit later, but you know what? They might be able to rush this.
Now, Barons are where we see games won and lost, and while this game was all but lost, it's up to Baron Nashor to really decide the fate of email support. Which way will he go? It's like a giant wheel. Email support going to spin it now, see what it offers for them. Zekin's just there to try to spin it back in Curse Academy's favor. Baron dropping low, it's the smite for Zingy. Gets that dragon, or the Baron. Dragon, though, will flash over the wall, trying just desperately to survive. Now, it's going to be a 4-on-5. Does Baron Nashor make the difference?
I mean, possibly. Duosec, though, still that powerful cast and has all of his cooldowns up in terms of items. No flash, no ignite. It's going to be hard to get that burst down. But, you know, Zonia's Hourglass and Seraph's Embrace is so much in keeping them alive. Oh, my God, Caitlyn. Almost bursted down. Is bursted down. This still might be the game. The throw almost happened from Curse Academy, but not quite.
But it's just not enough. And there's Yusui just going to go down there. End of the night will be a win for Curse Academy.
Hey, they can still dive the Nexus.
Okay,
man. They can still dive.
Hopefully they've learned their lesson. It's a double kill for Don't Mash Me, and don't throw the game. More like Zingy, he's going to stay alive there on. They're doing it again. They do get the kill this time. They do once again almost all
They can still dive the Nexus. They can still dive the Nexus.
Come on, man. That's
all right, I'll give them more credit than that. I think Curse Academy finally took the game.
I think they finally wind up
They
closing
can still
it out.
dive the Nexus, and they still will.
And in a somewhat anticlimactic way to end our last game of the night, it's going to be Curse Academy that take the win over email support. They almost pulled. I was watching. What was it like? Some pro gaming series from GPL or back in the SEA, and Manila Eagles were playing in it. They did almost the exact same thing, and I think they lost, if I'm not mistaken. But it's really cool to see some possible throws, maybe a window of opportunity, maybe some false hope being given by Curse Academy as they once again will improve to 7-1, the best team in the NACL. But keep in mind, it's not just 4 days this week, it's 5. We'll be coming back tomorrow. Every day this week at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's 8 p.m. Eastern for another day of NACL. So you get a bonus one this week. So make sure to tune in tomorrow. It features probably the best matchup is going to be Curse Academy taking on LMQ. They've looked a little bit faulty, but it's going to be a little bit more interesting. So I'm pretty interested to see how that works out. You've also got the Titans of VVV. They've had a huge win streak. Into this week, going up against Cognitive, who or up against Cloud9 HyperX, who started their winning streak back again after having it canceled by a teammate. We'll see how that game and a whole lot more work out coming up tomorrow. So stick around for that, but we want to thank you for sticking around today. I hope you guys have enjoyed the broadcast. If you'd like to give us some feedback, make sure to head over to Facebook, to Twitter, and give us your comments. Make sure to use the hashtag NACL, and we'll be glad to respond to you because, hey, we like League of Legends. We like talking about it. We like talking about it with you. So once again, head over to all of our social media, and more specifically, you can find our own social media right there on the screen. So make sure to check us out there at Rapid Casting and at League of Studio on Twitter. We'd love to hear what you have to say. And with that, I think that's going to do it for the end of the broadcast. It's been a good day.
It's been a great day. We've got one extra day, so our throats, we're making it. We're drinking he's drinking a lot of honey. I'm drinking a lot of tea.
True.
We're trying our hardest, but man, it's been a hell of a week at the North American Challenger League, and I'm so happy it's not over.
And that's going to do it. So on behalf of myself, Studio, EGAD, and all of us here at NACL Studios, we want to thank everybody for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.